So I left Mount Laguna this morning after doing laundry and getting a shower and all that, and I'm just hiking along. Oh my god, it's so heavy. You guys, look at the size of these pine cones. This is it's like the size of my head. That's crazy. It's also very heavy. And there's like a million of them. Good morning. Today is day 6 and, well, the start of day 6. And I am at mile 56. Just woke up from this tent site. I was gonna Nero out of Mount Laguna, but then I decided just to push and do, I think it was like a 15-mile day up to this tent site. And I had read on Gut Hooks that it was not the greatest tent site, that it was like super windy, and so I wasn't really looking forward to it. There was like this really cute park a couple miles back, but they don't allow camping there, so I was like, I don't know, it was like the day coming out of a town and I wanted to camp at a place that you couldn't camp, and I was like, great, the next campsite is going to be windy and awful, so I was like a little bit grumpy about it. But then I got here, and I know they say like the trail provides, but this is like the first time that I'm really saying it's true, because this tent site is amazing. It's like right back there, like nestled between the rocks, and then this view, I'll show you what it looks like. It's, oh my gosh, I can't even believe that we camped here. So I am somewhere around mile 68, I believe, and it is my first like really dry stretch. It is a 20-mile water carry from this creek that was at mile, oh gosh, I don't know, mile 56 maybe, all the way, no, yeah, like mile 57 all the way to Julian Scissors Crossing, which is mile 77, so that's like 20 miles. And there was rumors that this like water tank might have water, the spigot might be working, there might be water cache there, and so I got there and everything was totally and completely dry, so I kind of planned for that, knowing that I wouldn't have water. So I was like, well, I'll just kind of make my last 2 liters last, when these guys like kind of drove up in a Jeep and asked if I was a hiker, and I said yes. Turns out one of them was a trail angel. He asked me if I needed water. I said yes please, and he had a fresh gallon and he topped me off, and now I'm back up to full, so that was so nice. So thank you to the person who did that, you were amazing. Yeah, and so I have enough water to like cook and stuff tonight. That'll hold me over until Julian. So I am somewhere around mile 90 probably. I know I haven't been recording a lot the last like 2 days. I got to Scissors Crossing like 2 days ago, and there were just a ton of hikers at that underpass. There was that was on Saturday. There were some awesome people there grilling burgers and hot dogs with bacon, which was amazing. And they had fruit and veggies and chocolate, pretty much anything you could ask for Trail Magic. And of course tons and tons of water, which was good because that was kind of the end of a 20, that was the 20-mile water carry. I decided to go into, there's like a little campground place called Stagecoach RV campground, and I was gonna camp there, and the gusts of wind were insane, like seriously insane. I tried setting my tent up, I just couldn't. So I upgraded and got one of their, like, they have these little stagecoach things that just have like a little cot in them, and that's pretty much it. So I got one of those, and even still, like, throughout the night the wind was crazy. I was like, I hope these little stagecoach things can't blow over. And then coming out of there, that's like around Julian, coming out of Julian, I was gonna pull like a 14 and try to get to the third gate water cache at mile 91. And again, like, that day was just absolutely miserable. I didn't even want to record because the winds were awful. You're doing these like sketchy walks where the trail is only, you know, like 2 feet wide, and then it's a sheer drop, and then there's 60-mile-an-hour gusts of wind. So you would just like have to like stop and hunker down with your trekking poles in the ground every time there was a big gust of wind, because it was crazy. It's a little bit windy. And so when I got to the first kind of sheltered campsite where it wasn't as windy, like 10 miles in, I was like, it was like 4 o'clock and I was done. It was also like a big climb out of Julian, like you're climbing up into the mountains, so I was so done by then. That was yesterday. And so last night, like, I set up my tent in that campground. There are like maybe 6 other tents in the area, and I was pretty sheltered. I was behind like 2 trees and a bush, and it looked like someone had taken like a bunch of branches and like dead branches and made almost like a little wall. So I thought I was sheltered enough, but then last night the gusts of wind got horrible. Like, my tent was like falling over sideways, the stakes kept pulling out, so I kept like anchoring them with more and more rocks and then the rocks would pull out, and I mean it was big boulders that I was trying to put. So eventually I think I got to a setup where at least wasn't pulling my stakes out of the ground, and I think the wind must have died down somewhere around like 1 or 2 in the morning, because I fell asleep for good that time. Then I woke up this morning and it's beautiful and there's no wind or anything, and now I am down to my last like half liter, but I only have to make it like another mile, I think, until I get to the water cache.
Cover your eyes, promise not to look, 'cause I got some good news for you. Unexpected surprise, now you're on the hook. Guess what, I booked a ticket for 2. I feel stressed and depressed, I feel stuck in a route. It's time we get a brand new start. So get dressed, pack your bags, feel the holiday mood. You won't believe what we're about to do, 'cause we're off, California. I long to wrap my arms around you. Wanna love and renew you. Do all the things we used to do. Feel my toes in the sand, let my hair in the wind, and feel the love that we once shared. Here we come, California. Come and bring us back to life. Bring us to life. Bring us to life. Bring us to life.
So I made it to Warner Springs. I rolled in around maybe like noon-ish after a pretty easy like 9-mile day. This place is pretty cool. The Community Resource Center has like a resupply store, and you can recharge your electronics, and they have Wi-Fi, and then they have like bucket laundry and bucket showers, which, as you can probably tell, I have not taken advantage of yet, but I will. I'm pretty gross, pretty dirty, so I'm gonna go wash all my stuff, including myself, in a bucket. And then right across the street right now at the elementary school, they're having like a fundraiser dinner thing where they're making meatball subs. So myself and a couple other hikers, including 12-pack and Coach, who I've been sort of like flip-flopping with since like day one, which is pretty cool. We're all gonna go get some subs, and yeah, I think I'm gonna take like the rest of today and then probably tomorrow afternoon here to like rest up and edit videos and get caught up on Game of Thrones, which is super important, and then probably hike out late tomorrow afternoon and do a Nero out of there. So not quite a full 0 day, but good enough that I can rest and get recharged to make the push to Idlewild, which is kind of the next big town that I'm really looking forward to getting to.